I'm going to do my absolute best to explain to you why you should not purchase Battlefield 6, why EA and Battlefield are desperately trying to silence a quiet majority of people right now, and I'm going to explain to you why EA doesn't want you to see this video. I'm gonna try to do that in 10 minutes because this is like probably my 20th time trying to make this video, and I keep ranting and going off topic, and it spirals into other things. So I'm gonna try to keep it really simple, really sweet. If you want more context, the full context of everything, there's a video pinned in the description below that I made yesterday regarding to this whole situation. Um, I'm kind of just making a follow-up for this because I think it's getting a little bit more out of hand. So I want to first start off by saying this guy right here, Brian J. Audette, he's a senior designer at Motive on Battlefield 6, and this is kind of where the whole controversy is going to start from. It's going to pinpoint from this exact person here. So basically what's happened is there were some people on the Steam discussion boards saying that they did not want to purchase Battlefield 6 because of comments made by Brian J. Audette, and that if EA had taken appropriate action, that they would consider purchasing the game again. That post got removed. Okay, so that kind of added a little bit of fuel to the fire, so more people came. And they started saying, okay, well, stop censoring us. Um, just let us tell other people that Brian J. Audette has said these things, and let me express the fact that I'm not purchasing the game because of that. So it started off with this person should lose their job. I'm not purchasing the game because of comments made by this person. Therefore, you should do the same. Those posts were getting removed, and so now it's turned into something different. Now it's the goalpost has been moved from firing this person to simply just being allowed to talk about it, because you can't even talk about it on the Steam discussion board without getting your post removed. I've had 4 accounts permanently banned on the Battlefield 6 Steam discussion board. Again, more context on that in the first video if you want more context on that, but I am witnessing it firsthand, the censorship and the just clear abuse of power from EA. I haven't broken a single rule or guideline according to Steam. I've contacted Steam support. They have also told me that they're aware of what's happening on the Battlefield 6 discussion board, and that they would be passing that information along to their support team. So I just want to get that out of the way real quickly. Again, if you want more context, there is a video in the description below. I'm not trying to like shill that video or anything. I don't want to have to like make another. I don't want to keep summarizing things over and over. It's just a lot easier to just go watch that video. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about what Brian J. Audette has said. I'm really not gonna elaborate too much outside of it. I think I'm just gonna let the posts speak for themselves because they don't exist anymore, and I think that speaks for itself. Brian here, he no longer has a Blue Sky account. Whether or not he deactivated it himself or if EA made him do it or Blue Sky took action, I don't know. You won't be able to find these posts anymore. I'd be willing to bet that I'm probably one of the few people with these screenshots. So without further ado, let's go with the first one here. And this is kind of like the whole thing that sparked controversy. I'm just going to go ahead and read it out. I might give like a tiny bit of commentary, but I'm not going to elaborate too much on it. Yeah, and so yeah, when you say it was inflammatory rhetoric designed to foment the kind of violence that took his life, you're insinuating that he deserved to die because he spoke on college campuses, hurting people's feelings. Oh, because he hurt people's feelings, he deserved to die. It gets worse than that. Let me make this really, really, really clear. If you were like me, if you agreed with Charlie Kirk's positions, if you hold a biblical worldview, if you are conservative, and I'll take it even further. Again, if you are even just someone like Gavin Newsom, who is on the left and just agrees with me about what Governor Gavin Newsom here said, EA doesn't like you. EA doesn't like you to the extent that they wish violence on you. And if you give money to them, you're supporting that. Plain and simple. And that is why EA doesn't want you to see this. Because even though Brian here wants to say, my posts are mine and they don't represent no other entity, bullshit. Was Battlefield 6 going to be a return to form? No. It was always going to be more casual, more COD focused. When I played the beta, the gunplay was very fast. It was very Call of Duty. The maps were small. The pacing was fast. Go and play Battlefield 4. That is Battlefield. Go play Battlefield 1. That is Battlefield. Playing Battlefield 6, it had some Battlefield moments, but it felt more like Call of Duty than it did Battlefield. I was okay with that. That was the problem. Like, even though it wasn't a return to form, for me as a consumer, they had done enough to get me interested in buying the game because it was going to fill the gap of casual tactical shooters for me. It was going to give me something to do to hop into every day, something to grind, something to enjoy, without having to think too much about it. Because Black Ops 7 is absolute garbage. But the point is, I have $82 ready to be shipped and sent to EA for Battlefield 6. I had planned on buying it, and I just want to make this really clear. For people who think that they can put my poster mine alone and represent no other entity, and think it doesn't affect the consumer, you are boldly mistaken. Like I said, I have 86, but I had the money ready to go to be sent to EA, and me as a consumer, if you're listening to this, if you watch this far, please Make the sacrifice. Do not give your money to EA or Battlefield for either the despicable people who are working on it or the despicable behavior by the mods on the Steam discussion board, silencing and censoring people. You know, as a longtime fan, as someone who would consider themselves a part of the franchise, and I would say that for not just me, but for a large chunk of the people who are also saying this. Like, there are people who have been playing for 20 years, who are longtime veterans, and they're being treated like crap. This is your core fan base that you're treating like crap. It's going to backfire. And when you say senior designer at Motive for Battlefield 6, and then you go on to say the most vile shit, yeah, you represent that company. And now as a consumer, I'm not supporting you because you support that game. And if you support that game, Brian, then I'm not supporting it. If you've worked on that game, I don't want to support it. Because you are a disgusting, vile human being. And you don't deserve to be in public discourse. You don't deserve to have a say in the conversation. Because if you can't even agree to the terms of a fair and civil discussion with another person without resorting to violence, then why are we having a conversation? If the conversation is going to lead with you taking my life, then we shouldn't even be engaging with one another. You deserve to be locked up in prison. I don't go around spewing hate to people. I don't go around telling people that they deserve to die for the words that they speak. But Brian J. Audette does. Just another example of Brian here calling for the violence of people like me. You know, if you agree with me on Charlie Kirk's positions, if you liked Charlie Kirk, or if you simply think that he didn't deserve to die, you're a racist. According to these people, you're racist. And when you start using inflammatory rhetoric like that to the point where you then call violence to it, this is terrorism. The FBI should be looking into this. Start calling racist people what they are and harming them. Don't record it, just harm them. This is a person with a platform. This is a person with wealth, influence, who has sway, and is calling for political violence against those he disagrees with. That should be extremely alarming. And again, if you're planning on buying Battlefield 6 still, even after everything I've just said, you're just supporting this kind of rhetoric. You're supporting the ideology that I deserve to die for the speech that I speak. Yeah, I mean, we can go over all these posts. I'm not going to get into too much detail. It's kind of the same rhetoric over and over. If you think this person either A, deserves to keep their job, or B, you're going to keep purchasing Battlefield despite of all the information I've just given you, I don't even know what to say to that. Fine, I guess. If you really disagree with me on that, fine. I would really, really hope that where I'm about to take this next, you would agree with me on. At the end of the day, whether you agree with me or not, whether or not Brian should be allowed to say this tweet here and not lose his job, you should at the very least agree with me as a consumer that consumers should be allowed to quote what Brian has said and let other consumers know what he has said and let other people know that me as a person, will not be purchasing Battlefield 6 based off of this information. I should have the right to at least express that. And that's really what this is boiling down to. You know, if they had just left the Steam discussion boards go and let people discuss things, I don't think it would have been where it's going to lead. That's Brian there. That's the lead developer. That's the things he said. If you're still going to purchase Battlefield after everything I've just shown you, so be it. I can't change your opinion on that. You know, you're free to do whatever you want. I think by purchasing Battlefield, you're supporting this person, and you're very much making a clear line in the sand on where you stand. If you're purchasing Battlefield 6, I think genuinely, if you're ignorant to the fact and you buy Battlefield 6 anyway, so be it, fine. But if you're one of the people that know about this, who get wind of this and see it, and still decide to purchase the game, you're very much making a clear distinction where you stand, and you stand with this person who is evil and vile and disgusting. Alrighty, so after going over everything that Brian there said, I just want to quickly end the video with something else. You know, like I said, even if you disagree with me on Brian and the things he said, and you don't think he deserves to lose his job, and you're still going to purchase Battlefield after everything, at the very least, I would hope that you as a consumer would realize that this is not okay. This is the current situation on the Steam discussion board right now. Hundreds of people's posts are being removed for talking about what I just went over. And it's actually worse than that, because what I just went over, I was able to thankfully be a little bit more clear and concise and open about. On the Steam forums right now, that's not the case. You have to be extremely cryptic, and even when you are cryptic, they're still banning you. So, hey everyone, I just want to quickly say, as a closure to this video real quick, because I'm just finishing up editing it, I just want to quickly say that if you had a voice on the Steam discussion board and you got silenced, I really hope this video has given you a voice. I hope that I've shared a good chunk of people who I managed to screenshot your opinions and your takes, and you getting permanently banned for it. And just the whole conversation at whole, I really hope that I've made your voice louder. And I respect the crap out of everybody who has not backed down on being silenced. Regardless, when faced with the truth, you keep going. I respect that. You're standing firm on your beliefs, and you're willing to put your money where your mouth is by not purchasing this game. I'm doing that. I've proved that in this video. Like I said, I have 90 bucks basically ready to go, and that was planned to go to EA, and that was where that money was heading. And because of recent events, that is no longer the case. And I'm at the point now where I think EA. I'm sorry, EA, if you're listening to me, your Steam moderation is abysmal. It's a joke. It's disgusting. The censorship there for even just saying you don't want to purchase your game has led to people getting their accounts permanently banned, which is an absurd reach of power. And not only that, but it proves a greater point, which is why I'm so thankful that I was able to make this video, is the fact that you're trying to censor something that cannot be censored. It doesn't matter if this Brian guy deleted his Blue Sky account. It doesn't matter if you try to delete and permanently ban every single person who talks about it. There's a voice behind this, and that voice is going to be heard. And even if you fire Brian, it's too late. You've lost my money. Your whole idea of trying to break even after spending $600 million on your game, it's not happening anymore. As I know many other, are not going to purchase your game because of the abysmal people that work on your game. Simple as that. So yeah, I would highly recommend not purchasing that game. I'm gonna leave it at that. So thank you so much for all the people who helped be a part of the conversation and didn't back down and really gave encouragement and hope to, I think, for me, a lot of other people, I'm sure, who, when they saw that their voices were being censored, kept talking, kept rising up. So very cool to see that. And yeah, so hopefully something comes of this because justice needs to be served. So